Key point 1. Apple wasn't built in a day. Old business thinking is barely reliable in these uncertain times. The problem is many beginners don't know when yesterday's genius strategy becomes old. Navigating your business to success is often perilous, unpredictable, and complex. However, one belief stays strong. Every individual can develop a business idea that will eventually lift off as long as they know how to scale. Great business leaders come from different places, be it tiny communities or big cities, and everywhere in between. However, they all share winning techniques, embarrassing gaffes, and sad loss moments. Reid Hoffman knows all three very well. Resistance generates friction. Perseverance ignites progress. As an entrepreneur and an investor, Hoffman understands what it takes to scale a business, and he's collected the most practical advice to help you in your next business venture. In this summary, you will see how one leader's insights link to another's ideas, helping you find counsel and analysis. So seize the opportunity to unravel the secrets of growing a small, thriving business into a global power by following this piece to the end. Let's begin. Key point 2. Show them what you've got. The first rule of entrepreneurship and investing is that the most innovative ideas are always counterintuitive. They go so far against the popular belief that they appear hazardous and absurd. These types of concepts hear a lot of no. Thus, when pitching an unconventional idea that disrupts established norms and envisions improved methodologies, brace yourself for numerous rejections and accept them as learning opportunities. The increasing chorus of no should be your cue that you might be on the right track. When you're still young and green in your job, it's difficult not to have doubts when constantly receiving rejections from the most successful investors in Silicon Valley. However, you must trust your instincts. Why should one yes outweigh many no's from a group of investors? It's simply because specific rejections are more important than others. Scientific knockbacks can prompt you to refine your area, while doubtful ones may cause you to reassess the opportunity's worth. These are the rebuffs you must learn from. Then there are the dismissive rejections, which you should instantly disregard and sidestep. No matter how astute or adept, every investor has an anti-portfolio, a list of companies that prospered without their backing. When these investors should have said yes, they chose no and later lamented their choice. It doesn't matter how many refusals you get if you're patient for that final yes. And there's something to be said about it. It's important to recognize that while receiving input, particularly critical feedback, is essential for developing an idea, not all types of feedback are equally valuable. Sometimes it's more beneficial to seek constructive criticism from external experts, rather than those in your close network who might unintentionally dampen your enthusiasm to protect you from potential failure. Key point 3. Embrace your humble beginnings. Let the next thought sink in. You must get your hands dirty if you want a stable business. You'll engage in tasks that appear trivial yet consume time. Programming, designing, attending to clients, integrating users, and managing customer support calls, to name a few. Nonetheless, these elements can significantly influence your company's trajectory in the coming years. This philosophy can drive your dedication to serving your first users exceptionally well. You can establish a robust entry point for future expansion by fostering devotion among a select group of supporters. Take Facebook as an example. It was initially exclusive to Harvard students. These early adopters invited their peers who asked more, leading to the entire student community sharing updates. From Harvard, Facebook expanded to Columbia, Stanford, and other universities nationwide, eventually reaching a global audience. Without the early users' fondness for the platform, its growth would have been limited. You don't need a degree or skill to thrive as an entrepreneur. You need the correct mentality. It begins by conceiving scenarios beyond your immediate capabilities. Why? Because achieving extraordinary success demands it. The fundamental principle for building a highly successful enterprise is to create something so compelling that people can't help but share it with others. Naturally, this means you must develop something conversation-worthy. And to craft something that sparks discussion, revisiting unscalpable methods is essential. Entrepreneurs often face the challenge of building trust swiftly with partners, investors, customers, or team members. And the first thing to understand is that instant trust is almost an oxymoron. We cultivate trust through long-standing relationships. If you're going to go the distance, you have to recognize that the conditions around you are always changing. Reid Hoffman, June Cohen, and Darren Triff.
You've hit a daily streak by completing 3 key points. Great job.
Point 4. There's no light bulb in the socket. The myth of the lightning strike or the aha moment exists among entrepreneurs when a great idea appears out of nowhere, converting them into millionaires instantly. However, this imagined ease of idea materialization is rarely the case. The most successful business people are often already on the lookout for major ideas, keeping track of them. They keep their eyes peeled for anything that can lead them to a solution and place themselves in settings where they're most likely to be inspired. Successful business people are continuously looking for chances and insights through the eyes of their network. Hence, to dig up a groundbreaking idea, you must actively pursue it. Great entrepreneurs understand that the worst outcome can improve the next pursuit. The idea of the lone genius is one of the most pervasive and detrimental fallacies in business today. We tell heroic stories about creativity, a narrative about a single inventor, creator, or founder. A genius comes up with a brilliant idea and everyone else implements the plan. Then, everyone expects them to deliver yet another stroke of brilliance. One of the most common blunders by entrepreneurs is clinging to their concept for too long. So rather than standing in a dark room waiting for inspiration, they should pick a few individuals from their network who can provide honest criticism and then speak with them. This is the most critical thing they can do to improve their concept. But you can't only look for encouragement. You must actively seek constructive criticism. Otherwise, you'll only get nice compliments from people who don't want to offend you. And while praise might make you feel good now, it won't help you achieve. Key point 5. Company culture matters. When starting a business, the first people you recruit aren't simply employees, but also your cultural co-founders. Their abilities and competencies will decide what your firm can achieve and who it can be. Those initial workers determine the DNA of your firm. Be vigilant about identifying and addressing toxic behaviors that harm the culture. Building a strong culture that makes it apparent to workers what matters and how they should do things is essential to building a successful company. Of course, a good culture isn't automatically strong. Strength refers to how much the feel of the workplace influences employee behavior, for better or worse. However, if you create a strong yet negative atmosphere, you won't want to work for the company you built. It is nice to have the right people on your bus, but it is even more critical to keep the wrong people off your bus. Adam Grant. There's also a role for active decision-making in a company's organizational culture. In aviation, they constantly teach you to make decisions swiftly. Decide. Opting for a decision and dealing with its outcomes is better. Google's rapid growth demanded fast decision-making for a couple of reasons. Firstly, it enabled them to remain ahead in the dynamic world of online searches. Secondly, and perhaps less known, is that swift decision-making fosters innovation. Encountering bureaucratic obstacles is a surefire way to stifle creativity. In many large organizations, many lawyers, decision-makers, and ambiguous responsibilities lead to stagnation. Resource allocation based on time and conditions is a choice you'll frequently make when operating a firm that aims to grow. These are a series of recurring and crucial decisions for any business, since they require allocating resources between already profitable and new experimental products. Key point 6. Get some guinea pigs. Many believe that building a company is less talk and more action. In other words, doing it slowly, thoughtfully, and most importantly, secretly. That means taking your time to perfect it before revealing it to the rest of the world. As the saying goes, you get only one shot at making a first impression. The image of the tormented poet secluded in their attic, laboring over every comma, might fit in the realm of the arts. But with startups, it would be a self-sabotaging plan. The challenge lies in the fact that your beliefs about customer desires are often grounded in untested hypotheses and rarely match reality. The solution is to test these theories rapidly. Many leaders have learned that the best way to get to know their customers is to listen to them, conduct a survey, hold focus groups with them, examine their online reviews, social media posts, and emails. These tactics will bring you closer to your users, allowing you to understand better what your product means to them and identify growth potential. However, only listening to users might lead you down the wrong path. Therefore, if you truly wish to learn from your customers, you must be open to following them, even if it leads to them commandeering your product for unintended uses. You may, of course, always seek input, but sometimes ignoring what people say and watching what they actually do is more insightful. Treating your consumers as explorers, pushing the limits of your initial product, and returning with valuable insights are some of the best ways to draw cues from what they do rather than what they say. Then you must sharpen your interpreting skills and ensure you're ready to act swiftly. Often, customers only know what they need when you offer it to them. Did you know? According to Forbes, 42% of inventions fail because of extensive development periods. Meanwhile, 32% are due to choosing the wrong concept. Key point 7. Remember to stay human. A close examination of successful companies reveals that many had an entirely different venture before pivoting to what eventually scaled and succeeded. Yet, in most effective pivots, some small but critical elements from the original plan find their way into the successful one. The co-founder of Twitter, Av Williams, wasn't sure about the success of his 4 ventures at first, too. However, they all originated from a consistent goal he pursued throughout his adult life. It's simple to destroy a failing product, yet it's more challenging to terminate one with potential. How can you help your company manage a crisis? Think about the business and all the individuals associated with it, both within and outside the organization. During an emergency, you must pause to prioritize humanity first and be accountable to your colleagues, community, and society. Start with compassion and care, but don't stop there. Firms lose character as they develop by praising and rewarding the what rather than the how. You need a clear vision of what you want and how to achieve it. You should convey your ideas often and loudly, primarily if your company has grown to the point where you're sending messages to 5,000, 10,000, or 15,000 people. With a larger audience, the gap between you and the leadership widens, necessitating more vigorous and frequent communication to ensure your message is heard. Conclusion. Everyone wishes to leave a unique mark, especially on those nearest: family, friends, and colleagues. Some set their sights further, expecting their ideas to ripple beyond their direct circle, reaching communities far beyond their immediate vicinity. And a select few aim even higher. Their goal is to achieve scale. If you're one of the latter, you must accept that most will think you're crazy and make you second-guess what you know about business. However, don't let rejection rule you. Allow it to fuel you instead. As an entrepreneur, you should evaluate potential employees for cultural fit. Then, your employees will help expand your business by building upon your existing base. View cultural fit as a form of evolution. Adopting this mindset allows you to prioritize essential tasks, such as enhancing diversity and inclusion within your company. With these rules in your pocket, you'll have a successful venture in no time. Try this. Start quickly, but don't overwork yourself. Rapid decision-making is essential for growth. Allow the flames to burn. When running a fast-growing business, you must keep pushing forward. Ensure enough money is left over to cover a plan B and try new things. Consider an investor as a later-stage co-founder, someone who knows you and your company's mission.